Normally, when I make a review on a game, it's because I think I can make some good jokes about it, and the game would make for an interesting topic to talk about for 8 to 12 minutes. But with Stray, I chose to review this game because it's genuinely one of my favorite games of all time. Usually, I'd sit here for the entire video and try to tear a litter's worth of jokes out of this game, but because of the fact I enjoy this game so much, it means that I fully plan on getting incredibly analytical about a game very clearly made for kids. Which is a fact I forgot about when I went to Comic-Con last year cosplaying as a character from this game, and then proceeded to be confused why so many kids wanted pictures with me. Stray is a game made in 2022 by Blue 12 Studios, which follows an orange cat who accidentally becomes trapped in a subterranean complex full of robots trying to survive. And if that doesn't sound interesting to you, then buckle up. This game competed with Elden Ring for Game of the Year. Name one other game that competed with Elden Ring. Fucking Xenoblade? As if. God of War? More like God of Snore. I unironically think Stray is a better game than Elden Ring. I still see the 2022 awards as another 2016. Everyone knew Titanfall 2 was a better game, but the endless tides of fanboys and convicted sexual predators willed Overwatch to the top. And since the cat's already out of the bag on how systematic this review will be, I'm going to start off with the world building. There is so much character development during the course of this 5-hour game that by the end, the scum that runs down the sewer stream at your feet may as well have told you its life story in full. There are many characters in this game who get less screen time than Boba Fett did in the original trilogy, and I would still gladly sit through a 4-season show about their lives. And all of this is made even more impressive by the fact that there is not a single human character in this game. Only robots and the feline equivalent of a silent Metal Gear Solid protagonist. What's even more impressive is that this game manages to have one of the best themes ever and crams 80 hours worth of world building into a game that's 5 hours long. And that's if you're really dragging it out. So when that special someone points out for the 4th time that you're a bit too small, just make them play Stray, and I promise they'll understand that length isn't what's important. I mean, this game is half the length of the complete lore of Destiny. The devs made a story with the quality of the Lord of the Rings trilogies that's the length of Cats. My only genuine complaint with Stray is, like Fort Solace, the UI does kind of remove the only gameplay you have, but it does make up for it by taking inspiration from Discord users and giving you a dedicated meow button. As I mentioned earlier, this game is entirely devoid of humans, but that doesn't mean it's empty at all. In fact, the complex is still a bustling metropolis, and you can't swing a dead cat without hitting something arguably living, whether robots called companions in the walled city or subterranean leeches. We open on a litter of kittens playing together in this drainage system, and eventually you take control of one. While making a particularly precarious jump, you fall down into the sewer system and black out.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Stray actually introduces threats throughout the game, and a couple of the chase sequences can actually be a little challenging. I do wish that the soundtrack matched up to the intensity of these chases, though. You make your way through the sewers and into the slums, helping and befriending a robot named B12, which I would say lacks subtlety if we weren't talking about Stray here. We make our way into a small shanty town, but I think that the companions here must have mistranslated the whole black cat crossing your path thing because they immediately set off alarms and hide. But once you're finally let loose to explore this city, besides knocking over absolutely everything in sight and generally being an absolute nuisance to the remaining society in the slums, we also meet the first main character of this story, Momo. While helping him repair his radio and contact people on the upper levels of the complex, we learn about a group of companions with the group of leaving the city named the Outsiders. And with the help of one named Doc, we gain the ability to use his BFG-type gun that turns these leeches into puddles. And as much as I hate to do it, I do have to spoil this next part for context for my narrative analysis in a few minutes. So if you haven't played Stray, don't get up off your ass, open Steam, yell for your mother to bring her credit card, play Stray, and I will see you back here for your final in 5 hours. Eventually, you have to separate from Momo and Doc to make your way up to the Ant Village, where you meet the next member of the Outsiders, Zabaltazar. B12 realizes here that they were once human, having been trapped inside a computer network for hundreds of years after trying to transfer themselves into a companion body to survive the Zerk infection. The most populated area in the walled city is the Midtown. Well, most populated with companions. Our first goal here is to find a companion named Clementine. With her, we hatch a plan to steal a battery from a large corporation in Midtown in order to power the subway system. So we get our best wardrobe together and get ready to try out for a role in the next Mission Impossible. After successfully penetrating Nico Corp's facility, we steal the battery, but it goes south and we wake up in a prison suspended above a sewer in a tiny cage, adding animal abuse to the Sentinel's many human rights violations. Like, on a scale from Swedish prison to Russian gulag, it lands at a firm Ingsoc re-education prison. And although the oppressors have offered me a 2-for-1 special on lobotomies, I prefer to use my get-out-of-jail-free card. So you, Clementine, and all the companions named after drug lords and notorious criminals escape the prison. The layout of the different segments of Stray are all so well thought out because each one highlights a different strength of the level design team. The earlier levels let you explore areas and become familiar and comfortable with your surroundings, and because the slums are much less upscale than the Midtown, you're able to explore more in depth. The juxtaposition of the slums to the Midtown, and later even the Midtown to the control room, emphasizes just how disconnected the different levels of the walled city are. And the chase segments in the sewers provide insight as to just how bad the infestation is. Throughout Stray, there are so many interactions, both between the cat and B12, and between other companions that initially can be passed off as just fun gags. But they show us that the companions live very human lives. They go to work in the morning, they go to the bar in the evening, they have trouble with vendors selling faulty products, they accidentally install malware, they prepare for D&D sessions with friends, and when we hear B12 talking about his life before he was trapped in the network, he talks about things like working, saying goodbye to his family every morning, coming home to see them every night. All these things that the companions still do today. Without a doubt, there's more humanity shown in these robots than in most people in other games. The death of all humans in the walled city hasn't ended humanity as such, it's only passed the torch on. In this new world, absent of humans, there's still death, there's still classism, there's still evil, there's still greed, there's still drug abuse, there's still those fucking hooligans blasting music 2 apartments down, and there's still people. They still seek the same joys we do, to sit and see the stars, to love. All these things that define humanity are just that, definitions. And definitions can be hazy. Stray not only questions what it means to live, but what it means to die, to feel fulfilled, to know loss and sacrifice. And as the dialogue in game shows, the companions still know about humans. They talk about us the same way we talk about our ancestors. Stray is one of my favorite games of all time, and I think the reason is because behind what is clearly a silly cat game for kids, there's a thought-provoking idea that humanity as we know it isn't being human. It's the interrelatedness of beings, and we can see that in the same way the humans died off sealing themselves off from the outside world, the companions are torturing their own in the prison, sealing off those in the slums from the rest of society. Plato said that man is nothing but a featherless biped, short of a companion with a bird on its head. That's what's prominently featured in this game. Stray dares to say that no matter how much time passes, how distant the companions grow from their human ancestors, there's still a piece of humanity in all of them. It's the idea that humanity is more than flesh and blood, that it's consciousness, the ability to care, hope, and love, and that it's hereditary. That is what Stray is about.
There's blood on the bed, but here in my head, I'm feeling fine. It's easy to sleep when I'm not buzzing all the time. So funny the way I was before. Once I was blind, but now I see. Once I was him, but now he's me.